I just paid. So I plan on, assuming there's enough energy for it in the world, to have it listed by the 1st of August.
Hey, I talked to Jennifer Robin today.
Well, I've been monitoring this thing, and I just happened to be in here when Matt came in. And, you know,
The people.
wait till the last minute. No. Wait till the last
Well,
minute.
you know, it's been ongoing and then there's different things and then.
And she said that I'm fine.
Yeah.
They started talking
Need
about
me
this
up
in
here.
February.
Sure.
Good. Sue, and I think I told you, so I went to second town hall. Sue, just tell me where I need to sign so I can my deal with David.
It's what they call the learning curve.
So we're making progress.
We still have time.
Yeah.
But the main thing is that.
Well, hopefully you guys can get to, if you guys get to the point with meetings tonight that you can just say, go to a lawyer and write the 2 deeds.
Free launches.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's more about like when I go to sell it, making sure that what we have discussed, and like everyone knows, and him and I are discussing, is up to speed so that when a buyer buys, and it's, you know, he's already had things drawn out, and all that, and so making sure that there's no hurdles someone has to jump through. You know what I mean? Or he has to jump through all these things.
Well, it could be a problem for the buyer, and that the buyer's agents look at and say, this is up in the air.
I don't think it will be.
Well, that was,
We don't
yeah,
want that.
Right.
I've seen the product.
And that's way beyond, that's beyond anything we can do.
Did you hear how much going on that reality?
I didn't hear. In fact, I told Rich before I left. I said, you know, just be aware, don't call. Is that what you're saying? Something like a service?
Yeah. My electrician, God love him, he was able to short notice. But starting at 2 a.m., I fire alarm went off.
They only do it in the middle of the night.
So yeah, I went down and talked to your wife today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm jealous, but, you know,
We just
like,
replaced them all.
yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they were all.
With our heart.
They're hard ones.
That old 2015, something like the life of 10 years.
Yeah. Give or take.
Yeah, exactly.
What was it?
It was, a higher rate, his electrician come on short notice.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't get over that first.
We tried changing out all that.
Yeah.
Hoping that would work. And that didn't get a choice.
Oh, well, I get to meet your brother. Yeah, Jeff Feature, pleased to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, we had the whole family of it, so I'm like,
Michael.
geez. As
As I'm standing here, I'm going, his boy's not old enough to be smoking a
Everybody else.
Well,
And the idea that the EPA is now going to be dictating what this board does? Oh, come on.
All the frames and kind of, I get gutters and
As I said on the
Was,
if somebody
is that gutter company?
one the vibe I get.
I'd like to call the July Newfields Planning Board meeting to order. On the far right, Sue McKinnon, Mike Snowden, Selectman Director, Glenn Greenwood, Tom Planner, Bill Reserve, Mike Price, myself, Jeff Feenstra, and introduce them there. When you guys have come part of
This is the Newfield Zoning Board of Adjustment, and at the moment, I'm Kent Lawrence, and I have Steve Yavich with me, and I'm hoping I have at least one more board member to make this work.
Bob's not gonna be here, but he would have to recuse himself anyway. So
Yeah, okay, and I gathered that that was a potential, although in my mind, there's no gain or loss that he could experience through participating. Okay, clarification, good.
So first off, we're going to start with Christopher Wolf, on behalf of Deneen Properties. This is an amendment to a site plan. Did everyone read Glenn's comments? So it sounds like we need to take jurisdiction of this and then approve decision to not have it fully surveyed, blah, 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 blah. So,
I'll make a motion that we accept it. I'll second.
all in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Glenn, is there specific wordage that we need to use to omit from going through?
Yes, if, my guidance to the board would be, because you're familiar with the site, because there's already been a site review done on the site
Yep.
for the primary uses, and in light of the use that's being proposed, that the board is comfortable not invoking all of the regulations found in site plan review for this proposal.
Okay, so you feel that that decision should be, there should be a motion?
I do, yeah, the board should be very clear about how they're dealing with this application.
So I'll make a motion that the information presented, and we discussed it last month, is sufficient to address this application.
Should we mention what that information was? Or can we simply refer to the minutes of the last meeting?
You can refer to the minutes of the last one.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Just to make clear, that is basically stating that we do not feel that an engineered site plan is required.
Correct.
Okay.
Because one was previously done in the first one.
Just want to make clear, have it on the record.
So there's a motion to go forward with this?
Are there abutters here for this site review? Okay, then you can have him do just a quick description of what he is asking for.
Okay.
And make reference that you have, the information you have. Okay.
It's been a long time since I've been with the planning board, so I'll just talk to it.
Sure.
And if you have any questions, you can ask me.
Yep.
This is the property at 167 Exeter Road. This is the existing building as expanded in 2000, 2001, 2005. We added this 36 by 70 foot barn, and then today what we'd like to do is we'd like to add additional garage space, for storage purposes and so forth, and we will run power from the 36 by 70 barn out to this 24 by 26 two-stall garage. It's about as centrally located you can be in the middle of the 3-acre piece of property, and so there's no interference with any property lines or anything like that. So it's just we're just going to efficiently put it just off the macadam driveway, and we're going to lay gravel in and so forth, and then we'll put it on top of that.
So this is a temporary structure.
Well, it is. It's going to be a prefab building. time discussing, do I put it on a pad, do I, put it on, 8 or 10 inches of gravel? And essentially, it's actually more favorable to put it on gravel, better drainage and so forth to, from underneath, if there's water there, it just dissipates, versus if there's a cement pad there, it stays. So, so that's where we're thinking about now. We haven't made a final decision on one or the other, but that's what we have in mind.
Any questions?
Yeah, so it's just going to be used for garage and storage. It's a garage and storage, it's not
Yes.
off of it. Okay, that's, I think we need to make that
So
clear.
it's not going to be used for anything other than that.
Good.
Just to store some vehicles and probably, an equipment trailer or something like that. But that's all it's for.
Good.
So that needs to be noted.
It was, yeah.
Yep, okay.
And if you or any future owner needs to make changes, they're gonna have to come back to the board.
Correct. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve it as presented, knowing that it's going to be used as a garage and for storage.
For a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Great, thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, easy peasy. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Now we move into the joint meeting of the ZBA and Planning Board. The variance application was submitted by Matthew Farai and DLC Construction LLC for relief from Article 3, Schedule 2, special regulations, Newfield zoning ordinances. The applicant intended to convey a portion of map 101 lot 28 to map 101 lot 29. The property is located at 15 and 17 Railroad Ave in the residential village district.
I'm going to recuse myself because I'm a direct abutter to
Okay. From what I'm seeing, the overview of this is we have 2 non-conforming lots, and one will be made more conforming and one will be made less conforming.
It's a reciprocal.
I'm sorry?
Exactly right, same amount, reciprocal.
Right.
Yes.
I have not experienced this one before.
Apparently, the issue, as I understood it, when the applicant came in a couple of months ago, is the planning board has the authority to expand a non-conforming lot, but they don't have the authority to reduce a non-conforming lot. And then further, the thing I wondered about is how this is lot line readjustment. It's not a development, if you will. What the requirement for the town will be, like a survey. In our application package, we have it's not a formal survey.
Right, it's called a conceptual plan.
Conceptual plan, and I don't know what you folks think about it, but it's easy enough to verbalize this so that it's can't be altered. Any deviation from this plan, whether we should be able to conclude this evening.
May I address that?
Please.
From the zoning board's perspective, this conceptual plan works fine.
Yeah.
From the planning board's perspective, we do need to see a survey. We will have to have a survey prepared by a licensed land surveyor, which Mr. Landry is one. I've spoken with him, and he fully intends to do a survey. He knows that that's required.
Yep.
His concern was if he did that and the variance wasn't granted, it was done for absolutely no purpose, but he was still going to charge something for it.
Sure.
And he was uncomfortable with doing that without knowing if a variance actually was granted. And so in my comments to the board, I offered that the board has two ways that they can deal with this. The interesting thing about boundary line adjustments is because you're not coming out of the process with a new building lot, it's not subdivision. You're just dealing with the change of two existing properties' lot lines. So the state is very odd about it. They allow a planning board to do that just at a public meeting. Don't even require a public hearing unless once notice goes out to abutters, because that does have to happen. If one of the abutters asks for a public hearing, then the planning board has to have a public hearing. So it's a really awkwardly conceived statute, and most planners just tell their boards, just hold a public hearing. Because if you don't have a public hearing, at the last minute, somebody could ask for a public hearing, and then you can't convene when you thought you could convene. So with that being done, the planning board can do two things. They could conditionally approve the plan because a variance has been granted,
Yeah.
and they could give an amount of time for the survey plan to be presented to them for signature. Or they could continue tonight's hearing, having heard the evidence, and give the surveyor enough time to bring the plan actually back to the planning board for their review.
Sometimes on my board, there have been conditions which myself, as the chairperson, can review some paper that's done and sign off on it.
Correct.
I don't know that this has to go through the planning board's formality, whether that's a possibility in this event or not.
If the board felt comfortable with doing that, they could grant a conditional approval this evening. That would then allow only the planning board signature from the planning board chair
Yeah.
at the date when this plan is actually completed.
I realize that this is not exactly something that needs to, the town needs to be of concern. One gentleman has the property nearing completion, ready to put it for sale. And the other gentleman would love to have this done, I mean, for cleanliness before that happens.
Sure.
I don't, from my perspective, I don't see issues with beyond the zoning board deciding about the lots adjustment and looking at a survey. I don't see that there's anything else involved with this case.
I agree.
Okay.
And the amount of land that they're exchanging is determined. They fully intend to just do the 1/10 of an
One
acre.
switch. There's no roadway going in between. There's no,
Correct.
There's just,
Do,
okay.
do they know, in fact, that that straight line continued on is a 1/10 of an acre? Or that 1/10 of an acre might be 0.15?
Yeah, there is absolutely every possibility that it is not 0.10. That it could be.
It's the straight line.
It literally could be 0.98,
Right.
or it could be 0.105676.
So it's the intended extension that will determine.
Correct.
The boundary.
And that will have to show on the survey plan,
Right.
because the exact dimensions have to be shown, because we record these at the registry and they only accept the exact dimensions.
So if our verbiage is an extension of the line that's between these two lots to the back lot, which is Bill Meserve's and Bob Elliott's lot, that gives the leeway for that number. There might be hundreds of an acre in there.
Exactly.
And in a sense, that's immaterial.
And we'll find out when we get the survey.
Exactly.
We'll know exactly what it is.
Before the planning board affixes their signature, that would then result in a recording, that information would be on a plan.
I would feel very comfortable doing a conditional approval on this.
I support conditional.
It's probably rare that you guys do it, it's a little less so for us.
I don't think it matters. Well, the only way it would matter is if, like you said, someone at that meeting says, oh, I'd like a public hearing.
Well, we've
But
noticed
after-
this, we've noticed this, so they can't ask that question now.
Right.
Because we've formally noticed it as a boundary line adjustment. So anybody in the audience that's here for this proposal has the right to ask any questions that they have about it, and the board can respond. But the difference being, if you do a conditional approval, the board doesn't have to convene on it again.
Yeah.
And the butters would be sent home knowing that the decision has been
Get
made.
your, bring your paperwork to us.
Exactly.
That's all there is
exactly.
to it.
As long as the paperwork looks the way that we said it was gonna look,
Exactly.
we're done. That's right.
Exactly.
If you continue it, it means you're telling any abutters, they had the possibility, if they chose to come back to another planning board hearing, where the planning board would look at the plan and then make their decision. But the information, we know the information, except for the hundredths or tenths bearing points of exactly what is being accomplished with this boundary line adjustment. Otherwise, I would be telling you, no, we want to do a continuance, we want to see that plan. This plan is really straightforward.
Right.
What they're doing is accomplishing something that meets the planning board's requirement of being proactive and meaningful in planning. You're taking a lot that curves around another lot, and you're eliminating that circumstance.
And we see what the
And you
result
see
is.
you see what the result is, and it's a beneficial result.
Yeah.
So I see no harm with the board making their decision tonight conditionally, and then having you sign it when it comes in, completed by the survey.
So.
But this is all contingent. It can only happen after their action.
Yeah. Either of you have anything you wish to contribute to our discussion?
The only thing I thought of is when Peter Landry did this conceptual lot line, I think he said he used data off of 3 recent surveys,
Mhm.
so it's pretty close. He said something to the effect of it's within a few square feet. It's pretty close, so I can't tell you.
He conveyed the same thing to me.
Yeah. And that's really
Anything you
not
wanna
so
add?
much the issue with it. I think everybody's allowing for little changes in the numbers. It actually says plus or minus, so that's kind of indicative of the way this has been presented. All right. Okay. I'll make a motion that in this case, which is 23-07-13-01, that we, we're going to have to go through the 5 criteria first. Or I wish we would, because it's presented as an variance. All right, number 1, variance will not be contrary to the public interest. Those who agree, say aye. Aye. Spirit and intent of the ordinance is observed. In agreement? Aye. Aye. Substantial justice is done. Aye. Values of surrounding properties are not diminished. Aye. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance, statute, whatever it is in this case, do not result or would result in an unnecessary hardship. Okay, I make a motion that we accept this as proposed. This is a continuation of the line, the boundary line between the 2 lots. 101, 128, 101, 129. would be the ZBA's wish that the planning board chair be able to accept the survey when it comes complete. Second. All in favor, say aye. It's on to you.
Jack.
Make a motion. I'll make a motion that we conditionally accept the plan. Matthew Karai, lot line adjustment, lot number 28.
128, 129.
128, 120,
Map 101,
no,
2020.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Do we need to further describe it?
No, not really.
Okay.
But,
Present it.
the surveyor did ask me, I always ask you to put a time on your conditional approvals.
Oh.
And I usually ask you to do either 60 or 90 days. He's actually asked that it be 120 days. And he'd like to get it done as quickly as possible, but he also knows that he has a ton of stuff.
Back on. Yeah.
And so he'd like that opportunity.
Okay.
So if the conditional approval
within
is
100.
120 days, that would be really helpful.
I don't have a problem with
So is there a second for
that.
that?
Second on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Perfect.
Does the board have any issue with me finding another surveyor that can do it in a faster?
Not at all.
Not really.
Not at all. We just need a plan that's stamped by a licensed land surveyor in the state of New Hampshire.
Matt, we're neighbors now.
Not yet. Not yet. That's it for us.
So this is, I believe, the conclusion of the zoning board of adjustments hearing this evening. I make a motion to close the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Next up, number 3, work sessions with the latest. Illinois. Dig in on the ruckus.
Kyle and I are, you are all likely as weary of these challenges as Kyle and I are, and we get that. We would like to express to the board, we have a desire to appropriately improve the land on the south side of the grade. And 3 things have happened over the course of the past 2 years, which we agree that site plans are complicated, there's a lot of components, but 3 leading indicators. One is that the DOT affirmed in writing that they did not purchase access rights to that land when Route 85 was taken, and we have a letter to that effect. The town attorney in June of 21 affirmed that it's 1 lot, and there were 2 successful test pits that there last fall. So again, knowing that the site planning process is complicated, those things are positive indicators. Our primary goal is to improve that land, which we look at, I think anyone looks at as the gateway to the town. And its current state probably could be better. Our primary goal is to minimize further dispute with the planning board, and particularly to avoid further legal expenses, or not further, but minimize further legal expenses. And we would appreciate the minutes to reflect that our goal and desire is to collaborate with the planning board and or the town, or the town planner, on something that would be, if possible, agreed. to include, and you're not prepared to, well, I don't know what you're prepared to discuss, but we would even be open to some sort of community space use or shared use or something to that effect, and what form that takes beyond the concept, we don't have any details on that. But I guess the key points are we do wish to proceed. We feel that we have got indicators that we could be successful in doing something. We believe it could look much better than it does now. And we believe something could be done there that is not offensive, that would be something that would be appropriate to the size of that site. Did I miss anything, Kyle?
I think that's a good introduction. I think what Bill alluded to was if the board, the town has any thoughts, any ideas that they are coming up with that space could be utilized for. Like Bill said, that we think we have all the squares filled, that something can move forward there. Whether it's, some type of a community space, some type of a structure. We're certainly open to ideas. We have some ideas ourselves that we've tossed around. And so just looking for the board's input on it.
Can I just ask a procedural thing? I see Sue diligently doing notes. I thought this was a discussion, no notes are taken.
No, it's a discussion in the public forum.
So does it go on the record? Or?
But as a completely non-binding discussion.
Right.
Yeah, it's a completely non-binding discussion. So
But as 91A, this is open to the public.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And we understand that this is conceptual, and Glenn's advice, the meeting was noticed only in the spirit of transparency and, full disclosure. So, again, we don't even expect you to necessarily have something, nor do we expect that you would tell us what to do there. However, as a planning board, you may have visions or ideas or things you're looking to do in town. We're saying we're open to any discussion. Our goal is we really want it to stop fighting, but we are committed to doing something on that.
Do you have any ideas, Bill and Kyle, about maybe what, you obviously you said you had a few ideas. What are you thinking?
Well, in the community, in many areas, and I'm not saying this would be amenable to the board's desires or not, but some areas will have like food truck areas that could then be multi-purpose into Christmas tree sales or garden sales or community, that's what we could use.
Bigger farmers market.
Yeah.
Kind of space.
The more money that we sink into this, the more like it drives us to
Recoup your costs.
yeah. And so that's why we just want to stop, and we know it won't stop. There's always going to be creative contention. It's been 2 decades of fighting for this contention, and everyone we've spoken to, from laymen to realtors, feels that it is a gateway site to the town. So it should look better than it does. It's a big brand new mess. And they also feel, people we talk to, just opinions, that it certainly has some use that can be done as appropriate. We know you have the concern as a planning board to protect the interests of the town. We're hoping to find some middle ground or some use that is amenable to the town that allows us to improve the site.
A few years ago, you came before us with a building plan, with parking.
Yes, sir.
Is that, you don't want to do something like that anymore? Or?
Well, it is a consideration, and that was predicated on the test pits being successful, which has now happened. So I guess it's a possibility. But again, our primary goal is to, it may or may not engender further discord, which we would like not to have. So we're not ruling it out, but our spectrum is open. We want to do something.
Just out of curiosity, I can't remember. You still have the plans for that somewhere?
We do.
Yeah, okay. How big was that building roughly? I mean,
About 3,100 square feet.
Okay.
For just a one-story.
Yeah, and then parking, how many parking spots about roughly?
In the town requirement.
Whatever it was, 20,
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
We looked in the zoning and that, Wayne World did the drawing for Village Beach.
Okay.
So,
And part of that, just to refresh the memory, we were seeking 2 variances with that first conceptual plan that we put together. But since this last test pit exploration, that I think would negate the need for any variances regarding test pits.
Access to the site is not an issue?
well, the driveway would be opposite the post office. And so there was some question in the past about whether or not the land could be accessed. We had discussions with DOT, and it took quite a bit of research, but DOT did affirm that when the taking was done, they did not purchase the access rights. And we have that in writing.
Well, wait a minute, though. We were looking at this before and looked at the old DOT documents. I recall it specifically saying that access to this remnant would have to go through an abutter's property, that they couldn't access via the state roads.
That's why
I'll have to go back and find it, but
that's why I asked the question.
yeah.
I believe that the subsequent letter from DOT speaks to that directly.
Yeah, and I have a copy of the letters from Roger Appleton, who confirmed that, like Bill said, there was no access rights purchase at the time of the taking, and that we are entitled to a driveway cut on Route 85. We have an application on file, and it's kind of at the point where they're looking for a conceptual plan idea of what we're going to do there. And so that was kind of where it sits with our driveway application and DOT.
I will say though, I'm sorry.
Do we have a copy of that letter? Can we get one?
Probably not. We can get it.
Yeah, I have it.
One, look at it.
And I will say that it's possible, this thing's so convoluted over the years that I'm not going to dispute you because maybe that does exist, but. So that's
I know I read something to this effect back when we were dealing with this as the question on the remnant. And, I mean, that was one of the issues that was addressed specifically by DOT in those letters. Again, I know I have it somewhere.
So I mean, I think anything like that, we need to submit to DOT and have them describe to us
Why change your mind?
right, which side of their mouth are they speaking out of at this point. Because it's as important to you guys as
How
it
long
is to
ago
the
was
town.
that letter produced in the idea?
When did I see it? I saw it back when we were dealing with, I assume back when we were dealing with the remnant issue.
I was gonna say a couple of years.
Yeah, a few years ago.
This is.
But the letter itself was, while we saw it a few years ago, it was actually from the prior time period when they were addressing the issue of the moving the highway. So it's an older letter, and again, I've only been on here for, I don't know, 3-4 years, but that's when I recall seeing it. And I remember it specifically referenced the access to the remnant would have to come from one of the abutting lots. But like I said, I'll go back and I'll go back and pull records on it and have a discussion about it.
Is this the three pieces that were put together, right? What, did you add another piece
Well,
to
it
it?
was the original 85 foot cutoff, a piece that was part of that land that was lot line adjusted, and the old road, half of the old road. So half went to Dayton property, half went to this part.
And then a little sliver from the vet.
So that was the point.
Yeah, it was also on that side of the road.
That is, yes, the point, and it was part of the 85 movement.
Right.
And we purchased it from
Mhm.
many years ago.
After they moved the highway, you purchased their segment on the remnant side
Probably.
and added it to your remnant.
Well, it's all one lot, so it wasn't, I mean, the south side is,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the road end was added in, so all total it was 0.8.
So the community space idea is intriguing as hell to me. And I say that being one person here that doesn't live in Newfields. So how intrigued I am really doesn't mean a flying anything. But it is one of the first properties you see when you come into Newfields from that direction. So that is a really interesting concept.
You know, the problem with this one, it's in a commercial district. It would be like, there's no simple access for the people of this town to like walk there for this to be a real, true, community use. You're talking about you're across from a gas station, John's equipment thing is going up. You're down the street from, the Stratton Tire, the driving range across the way. To your point, it would be compelling if it was in a different location. That location, just from a foot traffic, community access, I personally don't see that being a focus for us to look at as the highest and best use. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody has a better idea, but community access to that property, you're not going to walk from here down to that site.
Well, it depends on what's there, doesn't it?
Gold mine, sure.
But I think the interesting concept here that underlies all this is they're speaking to us in a mindset where they're not asking for highest and best use. They're saying they're interested in a use that's highest and best from their perspective and the town's perspective, which you don't see very often.
I guess my point is the highest and best use for the town would be the highest and best use because the town gets taxed all its for. That's really what I'm saying.
I completely understand what you're saying.
About a week ago, I had a conversation with a naturopath that wants to move her practice out of Portsmouth because the rent's so high. She's looking for land to build, a new building and a practice. So I kind of thought of that lot down there. I'm like, well, how many parking spaces do you need? She goes, well, we probably need about 30 to 35 parking spaces. So, it's good business. We also have a daycare in town that wants to expand it, but that's just not enough land down there for a daycare.
Well, the traffic.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The size limits these.
Yeah, right.
So when you talk about the highest and best use ideas, any thoughts come to mind? I mean, as far as our suggestion of a community space, you might not be able to walk there, but is it, even after you drive there, it's better than the one that you have now, which maybe doesn't exist? It's not perfect, maybe you can't have foot traffic there, but.
I guess all that's dependent upon the access to the property, right?
Right. I think everything is contingent upon everybody feeling comfortable that they understand what DOT's final decision is on this.
And that is absolutely correct.
I mean,
Right.
because any access permit that's granted there is going to be granted by DOT. So if they revert to their old statement where they think they actually did give someone money to release their access rights, and that's what they're going to hold to, well, then that's what they're gonna hold to. But if they're revising that and saying, we looked at all our records, we can't see that we gave anyone money for access rights, so we're going to grant a permit, well, then they're going to grant a permit. Because it's not a town permit to grant.
In our discussion, we asked about what are some ideas. So one, we know that concerns are traffic, cars entering and exiting the highway, trips per day. One of the ideas we thought about, we don't even know if it's viable, would be a solar array, solar field. Now, is that a good entrance to the town? On one hand, it's environmentally sound, but is it visually appealing? It's not, but would it be something that would be easily done that would probably generate less contention? Maybe. So that was one idea we had.
I think you gotta get the letter from the DOT.
I mean, that's definitely a threshold point. But when I had discussions with Bill, the main thing he drove at in those discussions was, there's been 20 years of contention. They understand it's coming down to a DOT decision, but as we all come to understand what that decision is, maybe some conversation would be good.
And so what Kyle just gave Bill is a copy of the letter we had. I made numerous trips to DOT personally to inquire about this, and in the end, and Kyle, if I misspeak, please correct me, DOT came back kind of like with, this is a money issue, however, we think, like, we made, not, they didn't say they made a mistake, but basically they said, we did not buy your access rights. And
Yeah, it's been over the course of a couple of years trying to get to the bottom of this. And it started with a conversation with, I can't remember the gentleman's name, right of way in Concord. And he researched the deeds and the taking documents, and basically his findings were then forwarded to Division 6 and to Roger Appleton, who then took that information and put this letter together, kind of affirming that there were no access rights purchased at the time of the taking. So, and it's spelled out in that letter.
so we're not looking at the high-rise building there with 100 cars an hour going in and out. We want to do something more than is there.
I think we could sum it up as maybe what is acceptable to the board and sort of the path of least resistance where everybody can be happy with something. The bigger building, the more complicated it is, as you guys know, it's more money, more time, more obstacles to hurdle. So.
Like one of the things that came up was, and I'm a stay on this, but we park, like for a time the town was looking to do parking in back of buildings for visual appeal to pull the building up to the road, which we were fine with, but that actually drives a variance, I think, unless that's a remedy in the meantime. But that was one of the two variances, parking in the front versus the back, or vice versa. It was to conform with the intent of the accident ordinance and the town plan, which is probably 12 years old now. So we really do, we get it, there's points of contention. We want to talk with you guys, we want to find something. If we can, maybe it's not findable. If there was a clear legal thing that said, like, gas rights are purchased, done deal, you can't go on there, well, then that's end of story. But we feel that the indicators we've gotten so far are leading us to that we can do something, and we are tired of fighting over it, as I'm sure you guys are.
All I can say is you need to meet the zoning. I don't want to say I would like this use, a barber shop or another gas station. You have to meet the zoning, and that's all I think would guide you with. Yeah, that's what guides us.
And we don't have an expectation that you're going to be able to present us with a project, right? But we do want you to know that if there was something, and I hesitate to even say this, but at one point it was like relocate, or not relocate, put a town office somewhere. Like if there was some use that you said, hey, that was good to us, maybe that would work, maybe it wouldn't. I don't know, but we're just open-minded, I guess, and so not looking for you to make a decision on it, but making an offer to talk about it.
I don't know what the obvious thing is to go there.
Well, like when the gas station started, we had people saying we don't need another gas station in town. Nobody will ever use it. You know, it's probably the most popular gas station in Wayne.
And it came a really nice home, you know, that's like.
I'll never go.
And to your point, would it generate tax, would something generate tax dollars? It would. Something, yeah, it depends what it is. So I guess we'll, if in the meantime, something comes to mind for someone, Glenn knows how to reach us, and we, in the meantime, are gonna work on what our proposal would be for the use there. And we just wanted you to know that we are hoping to collaborate to the degree that can happen in any planning action. And if there were ways, suggestions on how to not be contentious, we would be open to talking about that.
And solar arrays are groovy, but they are butt ugly. They are butt ugly.
But our thought process is like, kind of what can we do, right? If there's opposition to traffic, which we get, if there's, like, we're just trying to think of what can we do, anything, what can we do? And that was something that came to mind.
A 400-foot sign that says, "Welcome to Newfield."
That's just dangerous. That's not even put that in.
But we do have a sign on this.
Oh, no.
Because that will come off as clever wit.
Somebody say he's crazy.
And they'll be like, dude, he's just crazy. Look what he's saying.
That'll be in the news tomorrow.
So we appreciate the opportunity to express our intent, and we'll, obviously we'll talk to Glenn in the future. So, thank you very much.
And thank you
Thanks,
for
guys.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not leaving this? Oh, that's sweet.
Gift to the plan.
Thank you, guys.
Good seeing you.
The one thing I forgot to put on the agenda was Glenn's. Did I send that?
The one we should have built in January.
Yeah, that
Yeah, that one.
one. Glenn's really strong.
Have you been paid since January?
You have? Well, no, you get paid in September.
I got paid last year. That's fine.
Oh, we pay him ahead of our years.
Depends.
I hope we.
With this contract, it says.
That's why he's sitting next to
It
me.
says the first payment comes with signing.
But he's been nice to me up until now.
This contract says the first payment is upon agreement with this contract, and then the second payment.
So Whitehead might not release this contract if it's not.
You could very well do it. And I haven't increased the price every week.
You have or haven't?
I
I
have.
told you.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a second.
Folks, what's the time?
Who's second?
Is it for this
It's for January 1st through December 31st.
of 2023?
Yeah, this year, Holmes County. Aye.
I'm going too quick and I'm not ready for it.
See ya.
What's it do today?
Thank you. Oh, he's on.
Now we're just.
It's today, the 15th,
Now we're just.
Today's the 13th.
Ignore me for a minute.
So, congratulations, Lon.
Another year.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You should just-
You wait now.
We're live again.
Oh,
Sue, third line, I
Yes.
believe it was 7 o'clock,
what happened?
not 7:01.
He said,
Oh, my,
Wow.
wow.
He
Right.
handed the gavel.
I'm gonna go with pen.
he's joking.
I know, it's joking, don't worry about it.
This should be Michael.
What should be?
Not Michael.
Oh, I know, I always put Michael. I didn't put Mike, I don't know. I'll fix that.
You don't need to fix it.
No, I'm going to, because look, I always refer to you.
I know you do. I appreciate that.
You called me by my name tonight.
I know.
I wasn't looking at you. I think that's, I'm never gonna look at you again.
Oh, I told you that.
I think you
Don't
get
torture
confused.
yourself.
I think you get confused when I gave you this, so I'm not
I
gonna
don't know
gaze
what
at
it
you.
was. It was up to
Do you guys want me to?
No, you know what it was? Glenn Gobel, a guy I used to work with 34 years ago.
I make a motion, we approve as written.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank
All in favor?
Aye.
Well,
Can I bring up something else that kind of came up, kind of converging together with, through Rivers Committee, we're seeing several towns in the upper watershed come up with for initial or revised conservation land development use plans. And I attended the Conservation Commission meeting on the Greenway, and one of the questions that was asked was, are there any parcels near the Greenway that are priority or desired? And they were like, we don't know. So I talked to Jennifer Rowden, and she said, yeah, she's RPC.
she's the lead land use planner.
That a famous planner and her are working on Brentwoods, Glenn's. And there's money through the governor's housing initiative to do this. And there's gonna be another round of money coming up in the next month or so. So I just think there's an opportunity for us to get it done. You know, we talked a little bit, she knew about, you know, we're talking about doing something with our sewage, costs at the treatment plant. So I just think there's, in the towns, I think in the Concom's regulations, it says you have to update your Concom plan periodically.
Yeah.
They're updating the management plan now, our company.
Just for the Greenway.
For the Greenway
Yeah,
management,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's a good opportunity to get the money. The money's good. She sounded like, with the Greenway here and the river and,
Do we want to have Jen come to the August meeting?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I asked
Tell her
her.
to do that.
She's gonna send me, I think, the Fremont plan and something else.
So she's really good. She's a really smart person.
So I think it'd be good, because I think it's a great opportunity to get it paid for,
So why don't, I'll ask her to come to the August meeting.
if we have it.
Oh,
Well,
you're right, yeah.
if we
If
don't.
there are no applications, you want to.
No, we should,
Well,
we should do with it. We should have her come
What do
in.
we do with the money? I missed something.
Well, it is to develop
Conservation.
A priority list.
priority list for development and conservation for the town.
so Rod would be at the top of the list.
Well, that's what it would show, is if it is, I mean, just, to be transparent, my property and John's property is #1 if you look at the Great Bay Initiative.
Sure.
Through PRO, okay, it's on the water, so that's just being transparent. We don't have the intention right now to put it in conservation, so, but that's out there.
No. Put something into conservation these days, you gotta hope and pray that somebody will change it, because right now in training, a lot of this stuff is, people can change their minds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw Dartmouth, somebody just willed the Dartmouth 3.8 million with some specifics about how to use it. And Dartmouth went before the state and got them to change the terms, which is shocking to me. Stuff like that shouldn't be happening. But
No, it's kind of what we saw.
So I will ask Ken to come to the meeting in August.
Thanks, so yeah, I think it'd be great. Tuesday's meeting, is that a selectmen's meeting?
No, is just a public discussion.
Separate from?
The town moderator is actually overseeing the meeting. It's not the board, it's not a select board meeting. No, now you know. So, John Hayden, town moderator, will be moderating the meeting. It is just a public discussion, some presentation of the latest on the Rudd property, an opportunity for people to ask questions, get a sense of what does the community think about this, because the option really is 60 home, 70 home development, or, the town figuring a way to purchase the property.
Mike, I think you saying that, I've heard people talk about that, and, we never, the planning board never approved anything out there, right?
No, and actually, in a lot of the stuff that like the Trust for Public Land has been using to apply to grants, I've been very specific with them that nothing formal has come before the planning board. It has purely been discussion. And their materials need to reflect that. Because it purely was discussion. There was no plan presented before this board. There was nothing submitted for consideration. And they need to make sure that that is clear.
So have they come up with a value?
Trust for Public Land, I believe, did an appraisal.
How would they do an appraisal about
Based
how many
on-
lots?
Based on what they discussed with the planning board.
Right. And they did do some revisions after the plan that they brought to the planning board. But that was a conceptual discussion.
Right, exactly.
As well. There's no firm plan approved by the planning board.
Accepted. Never mind approved.
Right. That says how many lots are out there.
Yeah, we told them.
So there is speculation to it.
I thought they were coming back.
Well,
I think they intend to still.
we told them that they had to come back with a conventional.
Yeah, I think they intend to do that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, we certainly have seen many developers come in here with twice as much, and it gets cut in half, right? Or more, right? So,
Oh, they all do it. Why not?
we're the back.
Throw it out there.
No doubt, and to be honest, I don't know if any of you are planning on attending or any other members, but, these are the discussion points I think the town needs to hear in more detail. There's going to be no decisions, nothing like that. This is purely providing information to the town, hearing back from the town, what are your questions, what are your concerns? Is this a good idea? Should we just say no right off the bat because we're not interested?
So how much are they looking for? Do you know?
I have an idea, but I don't know what the appraisal says. My guess?
7.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Yeah.
5.
And that's to the town?
That is the value of the property.
No, that's for the town to raise.
Well, that's an appraisal, right?
We would, yeah, we would.
Are we gonna pay 5 million? Or would they sell it to us for 3? It's an appraisal. Now, how much grant money are we gonna get to help the town do this? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
So is somebody going to be there to address how they arrive at the appraised value?
Trust for Public Land is gonna be there. And if there are questions they can't ask, they'll do follow-up. I'll give credit. Trust for Public Land has been very, very good in this process. And this type of acquisition, where in essence the town, if the town were to acquire, the town is the one that basically is going to manage this. It's not some third party. The town will do it. And what we'll end up doing is, entering into arrangements typically with the groups that are currently managing it, right? The riders and the bikers and the snowmobile groups who are already basically, managing the property, taking care of the trails. That's really how this will work, which I think is, in the long run, a lot better for the town than having a third party manage the easement.
But yeah, we have more control over it.
Yeah?
It's,
And the town's going to be more responsive to its citizens then a third party is an ongoing committee.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the citizens who bought this, or may buy this.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, anything else? Oh, I noticed something the other day going by,
Would you just ask yourself that?
So wait a minute. Do we need to show?
do we need to adjourn, or?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Up by, Scanlon's, there's a sign up there, with lots, sold.
Oh.
Why is that still there?
Well, they just conveyed the last lot, the 18.3 acres, the town just quitclaim deed, we just finished the quitclaim deed on it, with the access to the back property, or whether the town, keeps that, or, we were talking about maybe going to Fish and Game, so, because it's a logical attachment to the Fish and Game property there, which is much larger. But at this point in time, there's no use for it.
I mean, it's buried in the trees and, I don't know, just why is it there?
They chainsaw to it.
What's that?
They chainsaw to it.
I could ask Aaron to take it down when I call him and the deed's ready.
Yeah, why don't you?
Like Kessler's phone.
Signature, yeah. But yeah, we should probably do that when we send them over the deed, say,
Okay.
by the way, when you can take it down.
Also, do we want, evidently, we have nothing in our regulations that prohibits Price Place or Leva Lane or with a big sign. And I think the town operated as if we did have that, and Deer Trees was eliminated.
Didn't we address that in this zone?
Yeah, we did too.
That's what
Did we put
We
something
did something
in
about
that?
commercial sign, about
Yeah.
residential development.
Development
signs.
signs. I thought
2
we-
years ago, we didn't sign this thing.
Okay.
That's why, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were approaching Lily Lane about, because it was in stone, and they weren't allowed to do that.
On stone. Sorry, I noticed sour here.
No,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Because Sue just said it was 2 years ago, I think she's right. But in my mind's eye, it was this year.
Well,
I think you're right, I think it was
Glenn's thinking, am I living in a nightmare? I thought I did that.
Oh, he is living in that.
804.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.